Hello, dear friends. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day thus far. I've been editing pictures for so many hours. I've given myself a headache. And so I thought it would be fun just to break up my afternoon and come in here and show you guys the secrets to my squirrels. Now, yesterday I was creating a project and I was playing with the Fluffy Squirrel Bundle. And I have to just tell you, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this bundle already. I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. But I wanted to show you guys what I was playing with. And I just for funsies, I put up on my page and I asked you guys, did you like the shaded squirrels? It had a little bit of a dimensional color, right? It just kind of makes them look like they come alive, I think. Or did you like, let's see if we can find one of the solid colored squirrels. I know I put them all back in here and I didn't use a solid color one, so I know that he is in here. Here's one. Okay, so you can see the difference. This one is more of a solid colored squirrel. I'll show you an up close peek at the stamp here in a moment. This one has a little bit of dimension happening with some fun inking that I was doing, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. So if you like the idea and the look of the shading on him or her, I guess it could be a sweet little girl squirrel, you will be able to do that. Now, I am talking about the Fluffy Squirrel Bundle, guys, and that's one of the bundles you can find in the brand new September-December holiday catalog. And I have to keep saying it, and I've said it for years. I've been doing this as a career for a long time, and I often have said over the course of many years, I'm not really just a fan of holiday papers and things. I don't really know. It's just they just never super duper appeal to me. And this catalog and the online exclusives that were released the 1st of September are golden, you guys. If you've not looked at them, hop over to the websites and a shopping website. I mean, if you're listening to this, I would love for you to go to mine, but go to and look at the online exclusives in the new mini catalog. You're going to be blown away, absolutely blown away. But as I'm looking at the artwork in here, when I'm looking at the different variations of the squirrel that they created for us, the one that immediately jumped out was this one right here. Now you'll see all of the others that they have in the artwork here, they are the solid colored inking, okay, which you'll see the one that I showed you, right? This one is more of what is in the catalog. Then you look at this little guy up here, and he's the one that stood out to me. He just is the one that looks the most artistic. He's the one that gives the most, I feel like the most definition. He has a little bit, when you can do a little bit of coloring or inking in a fun way that's not just a solid pattern, they do look, okay, it's not lifelike, that's not the right word, but it does look a little more like it almost has a little bit more of dimension and kind of pops up off the page, right? Well, I'm just going to tell you, I'm a complete fraud. I can't color to save my life. I have no artistic skills in that regard whatsoever. So I like to just lean on some of my tools and just some few simple tricks to kind of make it look like I know what I'm doing when I really don't. And I'm going to share those with you guys today. So I hope you will enjoy it. Now, I will also mention that I shared with my customers earlier in the springtime when we had this cute little lobster and friends set. You guys remember that one that had the cute little lobster and the little crab, and they were what I call two-step stamping. So you have a base, and what Close to My Heart used to call them years ago were base and shade stamps. But essentially it is a stamp that you put two of them together, line them up, and you put two of them together and you have the image that gives you some really great dimension. So the squirrel was very much like the crab and the lobster. You had the base stamp, then you had the outline stamp. And so that is really what gave you the beautiful difference. Now, the colors that I used for these here was the outline stamp was early espresso, which, as you know, is this beautiful dark brown, my favorite brown that we have. And then the shade or the dimensional coloring where we filled him in or her in was pecan pie. And then, of course, we did some inking techniques that I'll share with you in a moment. Now, as you know, the great thing about stamping, guys, is it's very easy to change the color of inking that you're using to match any papers that you're working with or any palette of colors that you're looking towards, where when you get the paper pack, it's kind of comes in the color that it's created in, right? Well, stamping is exact opposite. You can really get very versatile with it. And so I know that squirrels are very famously associated with fall seasons, but I cannot help it when I see any cute little critter like this, I think springtime. So I just personally think if you're thinking about maybe grabbing the Fluffy Squirrel Bundle, I honestly think that this would be a stinking adorable holding like a little Easter basket or a little piece of candy or a little flower. I think that would be absolutely adorable. So when fall is over, if you guys grab the little bundle, don't toss it away. Don't pack it away with your holiday stuff for next year. I think we can keep it out and use it for some springtime things too, right? So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys a few of my secrets, okay? Now, when I start showing you my all of my tools, just know that they're not really clean. They're very well used and loved, and I don't think too much about keeping everything all, you know, pristine and that kind of thing. Because when you play with things that are stained and filthy and dirty, it just means they're really well loved, and it also means that I'm getting my value out of it, right? So that just, you know, frugal girls, I'm always going to be one of those. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lean into my most favorite tool ever, my stamping platform. There's a lot of these that are, of course, out on the market. I guess not a lot of them. There are some that are out on the market, and this is usually the one that people are using, the Misty. But what I learned about this, I've been using a Misty for 3.5 years now, and it took me from a person that was kind of, I guess okay on stamping, like it was all right, but it wasn't my go-to. It made me fall in love with stamping because I found that I could get just the right precision. I could get the perfectly inked images, because if I got them wrong the first time, I just inked my stamp up again and inked it and stamped it again. And what I love about it is that it takes stamping for me. It makes it more precise. I get much better images. And so what it actually did is make me fall in love with stamping all over again. And so I lean on this. I know that a lot of you guys are you're very good at just the clear blocks. I have some hand trimmers. I'm really not. And so this just kind of alleviates a lot of my problems. So we're going to lean on a Misty today. I'm going to show you guys a few tricks before we get into the inking portion, where you can see how we got the really fun definition of our little squirrely here. Okay. So what I like to do is I have a stack of scrap paper right next to my my regular cardstock, and that is just because when I want to test something, I don't want to wreck my good cardstock to do that. And so I know that if I don't have scrap right there within arm's reach, then what is everyone going to do? We're all going to grab the white cardstock, right? And I don't want to waste my cardstock. So this is just a little bit of scrap paper, and we're going to peel off the two images that, the two swirlies that coordinate with the punch. And so it's super great because you can get that beautiful fussy cut outline. Look how perfectly precise that is with the punch, and I don't have to fussy cut them out. So we're going to go ahead and play with this little guy first. We've got both of the stamped images pulled off the carrier sheet. You can see they're already pretty good and stained up. And it looks like, as I'm looking at my playback, guys, Facebook is not wanting to show me comments today. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but it's not today. So if you're leaving questions or comments, I'm obviously not able to see them, but I'll go back when we're done broadcasting, and I'll go back and address those, okay? So I'm going to teach you a fun little hack for your two-step stamping, okay? And this is going to work if you're using a platform. If you're using blocks, just stamp like normal and God be with you. I say that joking just because I'm so terrible at it, right? But this is great if you guys have a platform. I've not tried it because I have a platform, but I will say that one time I thought to myself, if I didn't have a platform, I could probably put a shim of some kind, like some foam here in the bottom of my DVD case where our stamps come in, and actually use that as a stamping platform where it would stamp over and over in the same spot. So if you guys don't have a stamping platform and you want to try that and report back to me, I would love to hear from you. Okay. So we're going to go ahead now. When it comes to two-step stamping, everybody's a little different. Some of you guys feel like it's easier to stamp the outline first. Some of you feel like it's easier to stamp the inside portion first. I think it's easier for me to stamp the outline first. So that's what we're going to do. Now remember, this is scrap paper. I'm using this only because I want to be able to get my, my stamps lined up perfectly, okay? We're gonna do a little bit of, I'm gonna jump ahead and it's gonna make sense to you all in a moment, okay? So just bear with me as we jump ahead. I put my, my squirrel down. You'll notice my paper is in the bottom left corner, okay? That's very important. You'll understand why in a minute, okay? So all I'm doing is I wanna get my outline stamped down on my little squirrel, okay? So we're gonna move espresso. Now here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna pick this up. This is a trick, okay? Is everybody watching? Move this around and put the same corner down here. You're lining up the corners. That's very, very important. When we go back and forth, you want to line up both of your corners. So all of your paper, whether it's scrap paper because you're getting them lined up, or when we move into the regular white cardstock that we're going to use for our projects, you want to make sure that it's all lined up in the left corner, okay? You could use the right corner, but you don't really have one, right? Because we have our hinges up here. So make sure that you want your corners lined up for both of them. So now what I'm gonna do, this is why I use scrap paper, because I can't always get my squirrel lined up exactly correct when I do this. So if I blunder it this time, then all I will do is grab another piece of scrap paper and do this again. Now, fun fact is, when I was working on this yesterday and working on my project, I actually lined it up right the first time. So we'll see if we're able to do that this time. So I've lined him up on the outline. Pardon me for bumping the camera. So I put him to the best of my ability on the outline. Lift up our little squirrely. Again, it's not a big deal that it came up because I just know that I need to put it back into the left corner. Now, again, I'm not placing a wager that I get this lined up correctly. So if we don't, that's what our scrap paper is for. All I'm doing is I want to see if I have my stamps lined correctly on my platform. And by golly, you guys, that's pretty darn good. Okay. It's pretty darn good. It's going to be good enough for today's demonstration. Look at that. We did a pretty good job. Now, I just have to say, okay, see how much more to life this color is a little bit darker because it's not dried yet, okay? So when he dries, he will be a little bit closer to this color, but you can see the difference. This to me looks a little more blended, a little bit softer, so it has a bit more of a definite shape to him, and he looks a little more lifelike. I'm trying to find the right words for it, and they're just not going to come today. So we're all just going to have to understand what I mean. But you can see, I just think this one looks a little more lifelike, and that's the difference between stamping just inking up your stamp like normal, and then the techniques and the little tricks that I'm going to show you guys. Okay. So now that we have them lined up correctly on our stamping platform, this little guy can go in the trash. Again, this was just scrap paper. So now we're going to grab my actual cardstock pieces. And again, since we have our stamp or our images lined up on our MISTI, we can now get to work. So I want to take my good cardstock and put it over here in the left corner. Okay. So now I'm going to begin with my espresso. And when I'm doing outline stamping or fonts and things like that, I like to use less pressure, which means a lighter ink coverage, and just do it a few times. That's just really important to me because I want those lines really crisp. And you guys know what I mean when you take like a sentiment or something like that with an outline and you smush it down so you get a good impression, but it kind of smushes out the font, and so it's not pretty and crisp like the stamp image would show, right? And so if we do it a couple times, then we're able to kind of keep that that really crisp image intact, but we still get the ink coverage that we want. So remember, we kept it down in the bottom left corner, but we're going to turn our platform, and this little guy is going to go in the bottom left corner. Okay. Now here is my trick. Okay. Here's my trick. We are going to take a bit of a, you could use a dauber. You can use the brushes. I just feel like for this technique, I'm a little bit better handed. I can get a little bit better control if I use a dauber of sorts. Some of my customers and my friends like to use the little finger daubers. They've never been my first choice. This is my favorite tool here. This one's kind of old and grungy and stained up and yucky, and that's okay. But what we're going to do, and again, the great thing about layering on some color little by little is that you can get it as dark or as light as you want, and you can be very, very precise with where the shading's going to go. So you'll see here, I kind of omitted the coloring around like where his little hip is. If you wanted to put it in a different place, if you maybe wanted to do a little bit of like an ombre look on the tail, you could absolutely do that as well. But we're going to go and I am going to just add a little bit of ink around the edges. And again, you guys can do this as heavy-handed as you would like or as light-handed as you would like, okay? So there is just one coat. Look at how cute that is, right? See how soft? It looks so pretty. I love it. I absolutely love it. So if we wanted to add a little darker colors around the edges, and you can see I'm just kind of going around to the outer edges. We'll try this with another color as well. We'll bring in just for the sake of demonstration so you guys can see. And it's always a little challenging to have the camera down close enough to the table that you can really see what I'm doing, but far enough away that you can see the whole Misty, and sometimes that's a little challenging. It looks like it's going to be challenging today, but look at the dimension in this fun little guy. Oh, I love it. And you can just go back and forth, guys, as many times as you want. You can layer on more color. You can layer on different colors if you would like. And again, you don't have to worry about getting him lined up every single time because the Misty, you've already lined him up on the Misty. And so now you can, this is great for mass production. Those of you guys that like to do swap cards, this is something that you can very easily do. But remember, your key is always, you've got to line one of those corners up to the same spot. So, and you can see we got both stamps on the same Misty. If we wanted to do a third one, if you had like a 3-step stamp that you wanted to do, I would most likely move to a different Misty because I always want the ability, I want the ability to be able to put it into one of the corners. And again, you're kind of limited on your corners, right? So let's try, just for the sake of fun, let's try we'll try a different color, okay? So maybe we'll try a couple different colors. So just for fun, we're gonna clean this one off because we're gonna go to a lighter color. No judgment on the chamois. I told you, my stuff is very well loved. So it's all stained up and it's pretty gross. A lot of it's pretty gross sometimes. And I'm not even sorry about that because it means that I am using my products and that makes me happy. So let's go ahead. We've cleaned off our pecan pie, but let's go back and we're going to stamp our early espresso again. And I don't know, I probably did 20 of these squirrels and really it did not take me but a few minutes. When I do videos, as you guys know, if you've ever watched one of my videos, it takes longer to talk about it than it does to actually do. So these were very, very slow in a video. They're very, very quick when I'm not teaching anything or talking while I'm working. So just know it probably looks a little bit more time consuming than it really is. So remember, we've got to get it in that left corner, right? Tucked down in that left corner. If not, our top squirrel will not line up. So now let's try a couple different colors. So now we can do a bit of, we'll add a second color, okay? So let's let's see if we are going to wreck our crumb cake because we're bringing pecan pie into our crumb cake. Okay, we're gonna use this for the crumb cake, or for the pecan pie. We are going to lean on our blending brush, and I can just tell you right now, I'm not going to be good at it. These are not my favorite thing ever, okay? So we'll just see what we can make of this, all right? I needed to get out another blending tool. So let's add, we'll see how this works. These work really good on paper. I don't know if they're going to work well on stamps or not. So I'm just adding, this is going to be really difficult to see on the camera. I'm just adding some color to the outer edges of him. Okay, we've got a little bit of color on him. Okay, so you can see a little bit of crumb cake. You even could, let's try this. Let's put crumb cake all over him and we'll get a crumb cake body and we'll get pecan pie shading. okay, with early espresso on the outside. So let's see what he looks like now. Okay, so we've got some crumb cake here. So now let's move from crumb cake back to our pecan pie. Remember, with lighter colors, you can go into darker ink, but you don't want to do it the opposite. You don't want to go darker into lighter because then you'll wreck your stamp pads. I say wreck. Did you guys know you can wash these out under the sink? It's crazy. If you ruin it, wash it out under the sink, all the ink will come out. You'll just have a foam pad and then re-ink it and you're good to go. It's pretty crazy. I love their stamp pads. They are awesome. I say their, I mean ours, right? Okay. Oh my gosh, that is even cooler. Look at that. So this has a little bit more of the color showing where you don't have quite so much white hip. You have a crumb cake bottom there. Now this is even going to lighten up a little bit whenever it dries, right? But that, see, look how lifelike it becomes when you do a little bit of different coloring with your stamps. And you guys can see, really, there is no talent to this whatsoever, for goodness sakes. No talent whatsoever. If you wanted to go, let's see. We can probably do this without wrecking something. Maybe. Where did our crumb cake go? Let's try this again. We'll try not to get pecan pie that's on our platform over on our crumb cake ink pad. Let's try this again. Since I have my stamps lined up, I can go ahead and stamp the base before the outline. So we've got crumb cake. We're going to move back to pecan pie. Sorry, I have to keep moving the Misty so you guys can see what I'm doing. The camera could be up higher, but then it's going to be a little difficult to see what's happening. I want to make his little feet, his little edges a little bit darker. If you wanted to make a fun little ombre animal or something like that, you absolutely could do that. So you can see, really get a good look at the shading right now, right? Now watch whenever we put this into the other side, right? Take it out and you got to line up. You've got to line up that edge. Another trick, if you guys like to use the Misty, put you a little bit of washi tape or scotch tape around your magnet. It helps you to pick them up much, much easier, okay? Another little tip for you. Okay, let's grab our early espresso. And he's gonna come to, oh, look, we didn't get him lined up. Ugh, dumb. Well, if we had him lined up, you guys would see, right? I hope you understand that with illustrative purposes, even though I blundered. That's okay, because we're only human around here. Let's do it one more time and I'll show you guys. And I'll show you guys the crumb cake. So we'll have our two-tone squirrel. Okay. So really quickly, I want a good bold line. You could even use black if you wanted to. I love the look of the espresso though. Okay. And sometimes the bigger images with the more real estate of a stamp, sometimes they will try to lift up your paper. That's why I often use two magnets. Okay, so let's do our crumb cake once more. Again, it's a little challenging to even see because it is so light. Okay, oh my gosh, perfect. Look at that. So if you wanted a really super duper 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 light squirrel, you could do that. Maybe if you didn't want any shading in him at all, you could do that. But since we have him there ready to go, let's grab our pecan pie again, and we will ink up our edges. We'll make him a little darker around the edges so you can really see the color variation between the crumb cake and the pecan pie. And it's just fun because you can put a little on and stamp again, put a little more on and stamp again. You can just go until you're happy with it, right? Look at him. Look at that. I love it. And then it is as simple as this, you guys. Okay, I'm holding it up so I can see it. It's a little difficult to see it if it's facing the camera. Look there. Perfect. He is so cute. So cute. I love him. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. Those of you who liked the squirrels that were shaded, now you know how to do it. And again, if you do not have a stamping platform, you guys can do the same thing I did with the blocks, with your stamp on a clear block, to dab your ink around the edges and that kind of thing. The only difference is that you have to be precise with where you're stamping it every time instead of just allowing the stamping platform to kind of do the work for you, right? So if you guys have questions about this, shout at me. I'm always so happy to answer them and to serve in whatever way that I can, whatever way that I'm able. But if you have not gotten the Fluffy Squirrel Bundle and you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to help you out. So you guys can find me over at studiosuze.stampinup.net. And if you have questions, shout at me. Take a peek over at my blog, justcrazyblessed.blogspot.com, because when you place qualifying orders, if your orders start at $75, you get project kits. And the more you order, the more project kits you earn. And so you can get free card kits. You can get scrapbooking, the Cricut packets for the scrapbooking kits. So you can create my layouts if you do not have a Cricut and fun things like that. So you can read all about it over on the blog. And again, if you have questions, which most people do, and I love to answer them, just shout at me, send me a message or comment below, and I'll be happy, so happy to help you guys. So thanks so much for joining me. I'm so grateful. Hope that you enjoy playing with this Fluffy Squirrel Bundle, and I'll see you guys next time.